Hi everyone, so we just have some big news drop for Path of Exile 2. Patch 0.11 is around the corner, which is coming later this week, including the patch notes, and it has a lot of really good stuff. So I want to give you a brief summary. I'll also link you the video here, and there was also this 2-hour long Q&A basically between Darth Microtransaction, Gazi, and Jonathan and Mark from GGG. And they talked a lot about a lot of questions and so on. So you can go check that out for yourself if you want. I can't really include everything in the summary here, or else this video is also going to be an hour long. But I have the most important points saved up here for you. So let's go through them. So first things first. Personally, and I think a lot of other people were expecting a lot of nerfs coming because we have some crazy builds out there, you know, Spark and Energy Shield in general, and, you know, have builds that one-shot the highest bosses and these kind of things. And it turns out they are not going to nerf those unless it really like causes issues for performance of the server and these kind of things. So it seems like they want to wait until there's an actual economy reset, which sounds like it might be sooner rather than later. So they said this as well. No reset right now, but they want to kind of like have one soonish or something like that. I would expect maybe sometime in February already, or maybe March. So this is kind of like what we can expect here. March would be, yeah, kind of the 3-month cycle, but maybe they're going to cut it a bit short. Then there's also a bunch of other really good improvements that are coming in this patch. So console loot filters, for example, a lot of people have been asking for that. And I can imagine in the endgame this is a disaster right now. So those are coming in general. Like loot filters are just really important to actually play the game. Uniques are getting rebalanced. Now I couldn't really catch any details there because it was almost unreadable, but at some point they showed them there for a brief moment, and I guess we'll see the details in the patch notes. But it sounds like generally they buffed a lot of especially lower level uniques, made them overall more useful, and then maybe they will scale more into the late game, which is something that a lot of people are hoping to see as well, I imagine. Armor is getting a buff, and they couldn't really say exactly how much, but it sounds like it might be at least like a band-aid for now until they go back and fix it properly at some point. But yeah, it will help, like especially warriors that are probably like the hardest to play and like weakest performance characters right now. So that is also really good news. And there's a lot of improvements here for the late game. So they have been updating the Atlas a little bit and how the map system works. So maps are generally rebalanced. So I talked about this. There's going to be like, for example, bigger and smaller maps, and then the bigger maps are faster to complete, but the larger maps have more monsters, and there's like, you know, kind of like little details about each map that makes them a bit more special. And they generally just made, for example, bad layouts maybe a bit juicier, so that, for example, Augury or maybe Mire or Wild Factory or so don't really feel like such a drag. Even though the layout is not really great, at least you get rewarded with like just maybe more monsters or more elites or something like that. There's also going to be new tower maps, and the existing one has been changed as well. So these towers are like everywhere and you have to go through them all the time, and it's kind of boring. And it seems like they're going to be like way more interesting now. Yeah, maybe not such a drag. Visual improvements, for example, like, you know, on-death effects now disappear even when you kill the rare monster that had them. Like, for example, these like lightning explosions or fire explosions, these circles that they spawn. But they're also just more visible now. And also other effects that have just been improved basically in visual clarity, like corpse explosions from some enemies and so on. So they showed us a few examples here. That's very good. A lot of people have been complaining about dying after the monsters were already dead, for example. So this will definitely help here. Then in general, standing mechanics are getting a bit better. Like we get more Simulacrum Sprinters, now not a crazy amount. Omens as well. I mean, omens are extremely rare, regardless, at least the ones that actually matter. So I would not really have too high hopes here, but it might help a little bit. And in general, it seems like they might tune down Breach a little bit, but maybe not just yet. But Breach is kind of OP currently, and they want to like bring more juice to the other league mechanics and also to the maps without anything, so that you just kind of get a bit more smoothed out reward curve, basically, and you don't just have giga Breach maps and nothing. So that sounds pretty good. Citadels is also pretty good, nice. A lot of people have trouble finding them. Turns out most of the time they're just kind of like hiding somewhere in the fog, and they will actually now have like a beam that you can see from like very far away in the fog, and you can kind of like path towards the Citadels, and you will probably like log in after patch day, and you might see many of them around you. So I'm quite excited for that. You can hunt the Arbiter down and get those Citadels. Also, speaking of Arbiter, you'll now have 6 portals to try it, and the same technology will be done for all of the pinnacles very soon, they said, so that you actually, at least on softcore, can try them, you can learn the fights, and you have a much better chance to take them down. And lastly, we have override socketed runes. Actually, it should have probably gone up here. But yes, we can re-socket our stuff. I'm not 100% sure if this is only runes or also soul cores. I understood it might be both, so you can kind of just like change it whenever you want, but the existing socketed item is going to be destroyed. So that's something to keep in mind here. Yeah, and that also kind of like sums up the most important points for this patch. I will obviously have a follow-up when the patch notes drop, so stay tuned for that. And until then, I'm planning to like make another few videos, maybe with my warrior build that I've been playing lately. I have a level 90 warrior that I've been leveling in hardcore, so that was really fun, and you can go check that out then. But yeah, this is what I got here for now, and then for the next few days, stay tuned for the actual update and the deep dive into the patch notes. Let me know what you think about this, and as I said, I will have the video link down there, so you can go check it out, and otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.